So don't anybody make fun of Detroit, Michigan. They got their shoes on the right, their feet correctly. They're really knowing and tackling. They got a big problem there. I think we may have some problems here. I think we need to look at all the people who live in this town, who don't maybe have the right kind of chance to read better, have a laptop at home. That's one of the biggest sources the libraries are providing right now is computer access. So many Americans, it's amazing how many American kids do not have access to a computer. Now what the hell is going on with that kid? How far is he falling further and further and further behind the Chinese kid, the Japanese kid, the German kid, the Indian kid? You know, we have to get with it in this country. Seriously, it's the libraries that are doing that. That is the only free situation that's left in America where every kid, no matter how poor or how rich or parentless or whatever, has an opportunity to go and find security and access to somebody to help them, somebody to help them with the computer. If you don't know how to use a computer, you can't work at McDonald's. You don't have enough computers here. And they're in the wrong location. Nobody can use their computer in this library comfortably. There's like 10 people standing behind them. You know, so you have to kind of think about what is, it has nothing to do with this $1 million. You know, the big picture, you know, the big picture of a city and the city leaders is the future of that city and where they're going with that city. And if you don't have a good library, and I come back here 5 years and we're still talking about mold in the basement, how we can make it, clear it up. That's the wrong idea. I'm going to tell you. And you can fire me or get rid of me. I don't care anything about this. I mean, I got the job that's coming out of my head. I'm just telling you what I know. And I'm in different cities all the time. And I see the reaction that different cities are taking toward their libraries. And some of the ones who are in worse shape, who may not admit it, aren't paying the money to build their libraries correctly. They're not maintaining their libraries. They're expecting the schools to do them. And the schools are shutting down their libraries. It's amazing what's happening in schools. Schools are just saying, okay, not our problem anymore. So then it falls more and more to the libraries to take over that load. And we're seeing the libraries in this country are mobbed. They're insane. We finished a library in a blue-collar town, Elgin, Illinois. I think there's 65,000. Last year, Elgin had 708,000 people visit that library. 708,000. They have hundreds of computers. Solidly booked. We are in there right now building, I think we had 17 enclosed glass study rooms for the kids to get together. 2 kids, 4 kids, 3 kids, tutoring, all kinds of stuff. We're building 12 more study rooms. We got rid of, in order to do that, we got rid of magazines. There are so many magazines that we don't need anymore because they're online. Newspapers we don't need because they're online. Back periodicals, which some libraries store by warehouses in their libraries. Deadweight, those are going. And we moved that stuff. Very smart library director. Just, I might add, you have a very smart library director here. We're very lucky to have you in. She said, this is baggage, this is stuff we don't need. Let's take that square footage. Let's put more of this study rooms in. You know, and you sign up for the study rooms. It's amazing what's going on in libraries. It is amazing. It is a wonderful profession to be in. I mean, I got into libraries, 20 years ago. It's an incredible niche. It gives you great satisfaction because you know you're building something besides a drugstore. We don't do retail. We used to do luxury housing. I think Paul Harvey was the last person I did his 26,000 square foot new house for him. I turned down Brad Pitt. I said no to Brad Pitt. So what we do, they're a pain in the neck. Brad Pitt means nothing to me. It's a waste of time. So, these libraries are much more important because you're grabbing that kid. I don't care if you grab one kid in this town. With that new library, you've actually done something with your life. You saved one person. It's pathetic what's going on.
It's a very practical investment.
Oh, a huge practical investment.
Instead of seeing it in terms of an expense, an added expense, If you turn it on its ear and consider it as an investment into the community,
No.
I think in terms of community response and you know, their reaction to that might be a little bit more, they might be a little bit more interested in that, instead of saying, is this going to be another tax that's going to cost me? Well, how about seeing it as an investment into your children and back into your community?
Is that measurable in any form?
You know, I don't know if there's any metrics that we've used, but one thing that we've noticed in the libraries that we've designed is by incorporating these computer rooms where there's internet access, where there wasn't a computer room in the previous library, you've seen they're at capacity.
They're always at capacity. It's insane.
They're always at
I don't care how
capacity.
many.
Hyatt, obviously,
Yeah.
in their experience, they've done nationwide, and, they recognize the importance to
Right.
downtown by stating it as number 2 after
Yeah.
more business government, 2, library expansion.
One of
So they must
the,
think that it is something to be
It
acknowledged.
does.
one of the most difficult things to have access to in rural communities is broadband internet connections. And right now, the current administration is trying to improve that. But by having an area for the community to have broadband access would be such a great improvement for the lives of a lot of citizens.